Hey, what's happening everybody? It's me back again with another video after 2 months. And that's because I was taking a break. And also because I was working on a video that somehow didn't go through. Because apparently it was too long for YouTube. God, anyway. So these past few videos, these new videos that I'm going to be making are going to be videos on old topics that I didn't get to talk about. So yeah. So this video and a couple other videos in the future are going to be videos based off of old news that I didn't get to discuss and I wanted to discuss. So yeah. So anyways, without further ado, let's take a look at Transformers Studio Series Devastator finally completed. So these images were shown at, I believe, I forgot what the convention was called, but I think it was something called Wonderfest 2020. And here they showcased Devastator finally completed. After 1 year of anticipation, I think it was all well worth it. Because look at how awesome this guy looks. He looks spectacular. Now, obviously, the only thing that's really new to talk about are some new additions to the way Devastator looks, and the 2 new Constructicons, which are the only Constructicons left to complete him, and those are Overload and Scrapper. Overload sort of forms the lower torso of Devastator, and Scrapper forms Devastator's right arm. And Scrapper is going to be a Voyager class, while Overload is going to be a Leader class, which I think is a good decision to make. Considering Scrapper's combined mode is essentially the size of 2 deluxe class figures, and Overload is going to be playing a big piece in Devastator. Anyway, let's talk about the overall look of Devastator. One thing that you might notice is that scrap metal shield actually plugs onto the left leg of Devastator, so now we know where that goes. But in my opinion, it looks a little out of place, so I think I'm just going to keep it on the hand of Devastator's left hand. One thing you might also notice is that there is actually a circular drum piece at the back of Devastator's head, which is actually the Vortex Grinder piece. That's a separate piece that comes with Overload, and you essentially just plug that on, and that gives him a more transformed look. Another thing that I like about it is that if you look at Scrapper, he doesn't look like a mess as he was in the original prototype images, because I cannot tell which piece was which. It looked like a disaster. And yeah, Scrapper just looks flawless in my opinion. He looks really good. Overload, on the other hand, looks good as well. He's going to be sort of connecting everybody into one piece. He's going to be sort of connecting the upper torso and the legs together. So there you have that. Now, there really isn't much to talk about detail-wise other than the head is sculpted very, very nicely. It looks really movie accurate. It is a little on the skinny side, but I don't care. It still looks movie accurate. And essentially, the rest of Devastator is essentially all the robot kibble that you've seen in each individual Constructicon's robot mode. So there really isn't much to talk about there. Also, I am frankly one of those people that are not bothered by Overload's face just sort of in the upper torso of Devastator, so yeah. And overall, I think Devastator is essentially almost like a movie masterpiece figure. Almost. And I say almost because now we're going to talk about the bad of Devastator. Now, one thing that I personally don't like that much about the Studio Series Devastator is that he looks a little too tall. Other than that, that's really the only complaint that I have against Studio Series Devastator. Other than that, I really love the way this guy looks. Now, one thing that a lot of people are really not liking about Studio Series Devastator is the way that he's posed. Because if you notice, he's in an upright standing type position when we never saw him standing up on only 2 legs in the second movie. He was usually crawling on his legs and arms, which also leads people to believe that he might not be able to pull off a sort of, slouched over pose. Maybe because of balancing, because if you look at his legs, they are way too small to sort of carry his entire massive body. But in my opinion, I think it looks okay. I mean, his head is sort of looking down, so he's sort of, I guess you could say, in a slouched position, kinda. I do think that his legs might be able to hold up the massive upper torso of Devastator, because his joints and his hips are on very heavy duty ratchet joints, and not only that, his ankle joints are on ratchet joints as well, so he should be able to pull off a slouched over pose because of how strong the hip joints are. Who knows, he might even be able to pull off a crawling pose where he's on his legs and arms. Anyway, I think that about wraps up Studio Series Devastator here. And now let's talk about my final thoughts. Now, if we're talking about the overall of Studio Series Devastator, in my opinion, I gotta say, I am very impressed by the way he looks. Even with the complaints and such that a lot of people have, I am personally fine with him being posed in a sort of upright position. Also considering that his head is sort of facing down as well, so he could, you know, he has that sort of slouched over pose a little bit, just a little bit. But overall, in my opinion, I think grading wise, I think I would probably give him an 8.5 out of 10. But hey, that's just my opinion. If you want to let me know your opinion, you can do so by putting a comment down below. And if you want, you can even subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you won't miss more videos like this. And now with that being said, I thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I'll see you all in the next video. Yep. That's it. That's the end of the video. Yep. Okay, I'm really not looking forward to this. This is going to be a big, humongous video. Bye.